And then up next, Amanda is going to present on how to hack your social media. So like I just said, the algorithm can be just so much fun, and you feel like you've mastered it one day and the next it can be completely different and you're just back to square one. So she's going to touch on, how to audit your business platforms, look for gaps or improvements that you can be making. And she's going to show us this with a real example of a farm that's here in Kentucky. So Amanda, whenever you're ready, I will let you take over.
Awesome. Give me just a second here. Let me get my screen right. So we've got Maggie from, oops, hold on just a second. There we go. Okay, so Maggie from Old Home Place Farm in Clay County has been gracious enough to kind of allow me to dissect her digital marketing. This is something that I do with clients on a really regular basis. If they want help, the first thing I do is I go and I stalk them online. I try to find out everything that I possibly can about their business from what's available on the internet. So all I've done here is I've Googled Old Home Place Farm, and you can see on the right here, her Google business listing is shown up and it looks really good. There's photos in here, there's a map, there's directions, there's a phone number, there's a website, her address is in here, hours of operation, open 24 hours. Is Maggie on here by chance, Bethany?
She was traveling home, but
I talked to her.
She was going to try and hop on. So if she pops in, I'll let you know.
That sounds good. That sounds good. So she's got open 24 hours. That's something that I would probably urge her to put actual hours on there. I don't want somebody showing up at my door at 3 a.m. But we got a couple of questions on here. Those questions haven't been answered. So obviously, I think looking at those to be answered would be good. We've got quite a few Facebook reviews and a local harvest review. And we've got some links to Instagram and Facebook, which is awesome. So overall, her Google business listing looks really good. I think that she's got, good information on here. If I click Google reviews, she's got a couple of really good reviews. Obviously, if you ask your customers to give you more reviews, that's always helpful. But when you get those more reviews, make sure you respond to them and, say, thank you, really appreciate it. Just kind of, give that love back. So then if we look on the left here, we've got Old Home Place Farm, which is their website, which is awesome that it shows up right at the top, which is expected, but still awesome. They've got a couple of different pages on their website, from About Us, Contact Us, the CSA program, and products. And then scrolling down farther, we see their Facebook page, which we'll get to here in just a minute. They've got an Instagram page. There's some information on localharvest.org, which is awesome. They have a Pinterest account, which is fantastic. Community Farm Alliance has some information on there about them. All of these things that are showing up in a Google search are all about them, which is great. So actually, I got to watch a nice video. I forget which page it was on. But there's a lot of information on here about the farm and about Maggie and her husband, Will. And it all looks pretty solid. So hold on, I gotta move this. There we go. Okay. So if we go to Moz Local, and when you go to Moz Local, let me go back a page here. So this is what the page looks like when you show up, and check my presence is what you want to type. And so we're going to put, and it is 9876. This is just their street address that was on their Google business listing. And it started with a 4. I know it did. So they're 40972. And click check now. It takes just a minute to run through a quick scan. It's running through all of these different platforms. Again, I don't know what all these do. Don't think that you have to know every single available platform out there. You do not. So it tells us that 84% of the platforms that they just searched have missing information. 8% are incorrect and 8% are correct. So there's a button right here that you can click, improve with Moz Local, and basically they can go in and update your information for you. Highly recommend doing it yourself. Save the money. So Google and Google Maps both match perfectly. It says Facebook listing not found, but we just saw that they had a Facebook page. So we need to figure out what on there is wrong and fix it. I would recommend fixing Bing. I don't know that anybody uses Foursquare anymore. So I wouldn't worry too much about Foursquare. I have no idea what that one is. Chamber of Commerce, probably not super important. Pay attention to the ones that are actually important to you. If, Brown Book doesn't have your listing, so what? If your customers aren't using that, don't worry about it. So this is the information that Moz has shown us. So if we go to their Facebook page and we go up to the top, I was obviously scrolling way down. Go up to the top. We look at their information. Here's why it doesn't match. So like most Kentucky roads, it has two different names. It's got the road number, but it's also got a word name. In this case, it's Baker Cemetery Road. That does not match what we have on Google, which is why Moz Local didn't pick it up. Okay. It's the right farm, but it's not picking it up because the address isn't exactly the same. So I would highly recommend fixing the address and making a decision. Do you want to go with what's on Google or do you want to go with what's on Facebook? What helps your customers reach your location better? And looking at what Google, what direction does Google Maps send people? And making sure also Apple Maps is getting more and more popular. So make sure that your information is correct on Apple Maps too, because if you're using an iPhone, then chances are you're using the default map app, which is Apple Maps. So make sure it's right there. Looking at her Facebook page, she's got 3,600 followers or likes, 3,800 followers, which is awesome. So she's got a great audience. I will tell you that the cutoff logo bothers me just a little bit. So what I would do is, and what I did was I just clicked on it. I right clicked on it and I saved the image. And then I went over here to Canva and I uploaded the image. So once I uploaded it, I created a new design because for whatever reason, the one size Canva does not have is your Facebook profile picture. It's 180 by 180 pixels. Why that is so difficult is beyond me, but I'm just going to do 180 by 180. I'm going to create a blank document and I am going to wait for it to load. So I've already uploaded the picture in here. So I can just grab it and drag it over. So it's going to show up there. Now we know that Facebook uses a circle around there. So I would just go over to Elements and I would grab a circle and I would make the circle the same size as the rectangle box. Okay. And you can change the color of it. So I can do no fill, but have a line. Okay. So that's what we're working with. Now I can make this a little bit bigger, but I have to take it to the back because when I try to click on it, it doesn't let me click. So if I send it to the back, now I can click on that, make it a little bit bigger so that it fits within the circle and nothing is cut off. And there you go. So now we have an image that will fit in the circle, works on Facebook. So I would definitely recommend fixing that. They are pretty active on Facebook. I'm pretty impressed with all of the different things that they have on Facebook. Why is Facebook being funny? There we go. Okay, so photos, they have a ton of photos on here, which is great. You want a ton of photos. People are very visual, and if Instagram's even more so than Facebook. There's a variety of images. So we have an employee picture, we have a picture of Will, we have outings at the farm, we have animals, we have flowers, we have vegetables. So we have all of the different components. We got a super cute puppy dog in there. All of the different components. They're doing a really good job of posting good, high quality pictures that are fun to look at. They're interesting. I would be willing to bet that this one did really well. And if I move my pictures here, I can see. So, it doesn't, maybe a profile picture, but if we go back, they're doing a good job of putting images on here. So let's look at their posts and see. Maggie tried to get me into the back end of this, and she was traveling today, and for whatever reason, Facebook was not cooperating. So I cannot get to the insights and analytics of this to be able to show you exactly what worked really well on the website and what didn't, or on the Facebook page and what didn't, but I can give you some ideas. So if you look at what a viral post is, it's kind of a vague term. It's your opinion, and a viral post for one business is not a viral post for another business. There's no concrete definition. So it's just a post that does really, really well and blows up, and lots of people see it. The average post on Facebook for a business, any business, is going to get 0.31% interaction rate. So that's a like, comment, or share. So for every 10,000 viewers you have, that's one like per every 323 people that have liked the page. Maggie's got about 3,600. So we're looking at about 11 likes, comments, or shares is what average is. Okay. So let's look. She posted on March 9th, just a couple of days ago, had 93 likes, 12 comments, and a share. So that's well above 11. And that sometimes it feels like you're posting things and you're posting things and you're posting things, and you're not getting the attention and the attention that you think it should get. But sometimes our expectations are unrealistic. 93 likes, 12 comments, and a share is a great post. Okay. So don't set the bar super high to where there's no way in the world you can reach those numbers. Now, not all of her posts did that well, but a lot of them did. So, I mean, you can see, this one got 12. So this one was about average. Okay. But the one before it got 105. So, one's talking about Maggie and one's talking about an organization that's not their farm. Pay attention to what your audience really likes. The posts that do the best in here have Maggie in them. So 82. It's a picture of her and flowers. Does really, really well. At the end of the day, they make money by selling fruits and vegetables. Their CSA program is what makes them money. Okay. So you think that you need to post more of what makes you money. In reality, you need to post more of what your audience is interested in, because what you want is to remain top of mind to your audience. Yes, you have to put the posts out there about what you're selling to let people know what you have, but you've got to put more posts out there about the things that your audience really engages with you on. The pictures of the animals, the pictures of Maggie, the pictures that don't necessarily have anything to do with what you're selling. It seems counterproductive, I know, but that's how social media works. Asking questions is something else that I would recommend Maggie do. And I would, they don't have to be questions about the farm. They can be questions about what is your favorite thing to eat on Saturday. It can have nothing to do with your business, but it engages your audience and it gets those comments. And then you comment back, and then we're having a conversation. And then Facebook uses that algorithm, because they see that people are talking back and forth and being real humans. They will then show it to more people to get more people involved in that conversation. Maybe people that you don't even aren't aware of your business. So I know it seems confusing on why it would work, but it does. This is a good one because this was shared from MailChimp. So obviously this went out in an email marketing campaign, and she shared this post from MailChimp, which is great. That tells me she's using MailChimp, which is awesome. This is really good because this is something that one of the CSA members made. I would love to see that CSA member tagged. It says, "Thanks, Lisa," but sometimes you're allowed to, sometimes you're not. If you can tag the person, it gets it in front of a whole new audience of people that Lisa knows, not just people that you know. Depending on how Lisa's privacy settings are set up, it may or may not be allowed. But if it is, utilize it. Here's a one that did fairly well, 35, 2 comments, 4 shares. It's a super cute picture of a cow and beautiful flowers. So more vegetables. There's Will did really well. Happy birthday. Happy birthday posts. Things that make you seem super personal and human are going to be your posts that do the best. So if something goes wrong and you post about it in a funny sort of way, not a complainy, crying sort of way, allow people to experience your ups and your downs. That makes them feel more connected with you and your farm. So not everything is sunshine and roses in anybody's life, and being authentic on social media really, really does make a huge difference. So obviously I would like to see more posts that are not necessarily business related. This is a good one. They made some wreaths, which is awesome. Got extra people involved, and tagging those extra people is very helpful, and maybe allowing them to share or asking them to share the post would be even more helpful. They did a really good job. I mean, they take beautiful pictures. These pictures are outstanding. They're clear, they're bright, they're colorful, they're eye-catching. I mean, look at that. That's awesome. And look at how well it did. 151 likes, 9 comments. Every single comment on every single post, I would love to see a business respond to. But I mean, that's just a gorgeous picture. So if you go into your insights, you can see which posts do the best, and you can see which ones have the best engagement rate and which ones you should boost. And it's okay to boost something that is maybe, a month old. If it did really well and it's still relevant, you can boost it now. You can recycle content. So if a year ago you posted something that just did awesome, post it again, as long as it's still relevant. Maggie did a great job. She takes a few pictures delivering, which is great. 61. I think this is a really good post because they did something kind of different on the farm. They looked at, or they did a dinner prepared by Acres of Grace. They tagged Acres of Grace, which is excellent. That's exactly what you want to do. That's another 2,500 followers that may or may not like your business that you're getting in front of. So doing things like that is super, super powerful. They do such a good job with pictures. I mean, I can't give them a hard time at all. They take gorgeous pictures. If we go up here to the top, let's see what videos they're doing. If you're not doing live videos, I highly, highly, highly recommend you do live videos. Live videos work better than anything. I know they're terrifying. I get it, but they work. So this is her most popular one. It doesn't have a date on it. That's okay. So it's about strawberries and I believe jam. So that's awesome. Lambing, she does some really good informational about how to keep your flowers looking gorgeous, how to cut them so that they look great. The horrible flooding that happened a couple of years ago on the farm, spreading compost, just everything. Share everything. Even if it seems dumb, people love to see the behind the scenes, how things work, how you do things, how your farm functions, all the silly things that happen. They love that stuff. So share that with them. One thing I will say is the last video was posted about 48 weeks ago. So I would love to see videos more often. Again, I know videos are scary, particularly the live videos, but use live videos. They work, they get your audience's attention. Don't post them at 3 a.m. Don't do a live at 3 a.m. Your audience isn't online at 3 a.m. But Facebook will tell you, you can get into your insights and you can look and see when your audience is on there and when they are willing to take the information in. So overall, really good job on Facebook. A couple of little tweaks I think can make things even better. So let's look at their webpage. Webpage is great, loads great. Logo picture looks awesome, easy to navigate. Menu, perfect. A pop-up to join their mailing list is ideal. That makes it super easy for somebody to subscribe, which is exactly what you want. So locally grown meats and veggies from our home place to yours. Super cute picture of some pigs explaining who we are. I would love, let's see what happens if I click this. So a little bio on Ronnie, Gloria, Will, Maggie, great, awesome. So what they believe, how they do things, what their processes are, that's awesome. I love the history. Putting your history on there and telling your story is so, so powerful. Let people know how you got to where you are. The good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, tell your story. Everybody has a story. What is yours? It's even better if you put that story in a video that people can watch. Don't be afraid to do that. It feels like you're tooting your own horn and that you're, it doesn't feel right. But that's what your customers want. That's the connection that they need to feel to your business. But that's great. They've got to subscribe at the bottom. They've got to find us on Facebook. It goes to the right place, which is awesome. Barn to door is okay, great. This looks really good. Let's go to products. Awesome pictures, loads fast. They got a shop button. I love it. Perfect. All right, so see what happens when we click shop. So this is obviously going off of from, they've got their core web page, and this is taking them to an e-commerce page, which is off, which is why it takes just another second or two to load. Not a huge deal. So we've got, different options here, things to sell, which is awesome. You've got only one left. So there's, creating some urgency there, which is great. I would love to see a couple of different pictures instead of the same picture, but I'm getting a little nitpicky. So, things like this, maybe a video, and they may have it. I just haven't seen it yet. but a video explaining the different cuts of meat and what they're great for would be really good. Video of cooking the meat would be awesome. So all of those things, they've got great, again, and their pictures are phenomenal. How cute is that? That needs to be on the Facebook page. So overall, their website is super, super solid. They've got their favicon. So if you see this little icon in the corner up here in the tab, Moz has got one, Facebook's got one, Canva's got one, the Eventbrite has one. You can set that up on any website platform, and it's called a favicon. And that just kind of sets your business apart from other businesses and makes yours recognizable in the tab. So definitely set up your favicon if you haven't. I do recommend using something that, obviously you can't really tell what that is. So is there another image that you could use, or maybe just the barn and the sun, instead of having the writing in there, just so that it's a little bit clearer. But again, I'm nitpicking. Overall, super solid. I haven't subscribed to their newsletter, so I haven't gotten their newsletter, but I imagine based on everything else that I'm seeing, it's very solid as well. Overall, I'm really impressed. They're doing a great job. I would just love to see a few more posts on things that are not necessarily related to just the CSA program. I think that they would get a lot more traction if they posted other things about, just their daily lives, just about, what they go through. I did see a great interview that they had that was posted on YouTube about the flooding that they experienced a couple of years ago. And they did a really good job of explaining everything and, the process of moving the chickens. And it was very insightful, and it made me feel like I almost knew them, even though we've never met. That needs to be posted on their Facebook page. That needs to be linked on their website. And it was somebody else's video that they came and interviewed them, but use that traction, use that information. I do think a YouTube channel is very powerful, particularly if you're going after a little bit older demographic. It's absolutely amazing. YouTube actually has a little bit older demographic than Facebook. If you're going after the younger demographic, look at TikTok and utilize that platform. TikTok is gaining momentum, although they keep threatening to shut it down. So not sure where that one's going to go. But the video platforms are where you're going to gain the most traction right now. And you can, if you want to push out videos, you can do that, and it'll help you to get customers that you hadn't. It's a different kind of demographic, different kind of audience. So overall, I think it's awesome. And I think I'm a little short, Bethany. They did too good, and there wasn't enough for me to complain about.
That's good though. I mean, we want to see less suggestions needing to be made. So I do have quite a bit of questions for you, some from the chat and some just that I picked up on my own. So let me start off. You were talking about the Google reviews. Yeah. Do you, obviously those are really great. Do you encourage farms to ask for those? And what do you do exactly, or how do you handle it if it is one that is someone that, had a bad day and might say a few things that maybe are untrue, or just how do you handle ones that are not the best reviews? Because you don't want to remove those, I don't think.
Nope, don't want to remove them. And you do want to address them. You can't just ignore them. The way that I handle them is I simply say something to the effect of, I'm so sorry you had a negative experience. I would love to talk to you more about this so that we can get it figured out. Please call me, please come by, take it offline.
Okay.
So there are, I know it's hard to believe, but there are people out there who just want to be miserable and want everybody else to be miserable too. And those people you are never going to win an argument with. There is no point in having that argument online where everybody can watch. No good's going to come of it. So you take it offline. You don't have to admit wrong. Just say, I'm so sorry that you had a negative experience. Please, I want to talk to you to make it better. So that's how I recommend handling that.
Just handle it with grace and as much manners, or as just mannerly as you can.
Yeah, it's hard to separate yourself from the business and recognize it's not personal, because
Yep.
it is personal, because it is your business, and it feels like an attack on you. It's not, but it's hard to separate, but try.
Yes. Yeah. Hard to not take it personally.
Yeah.
So with what you just performed is a type of audit of your different platforms and, business listings, and really just kind of almost your direct marketing as a whole. So how often do you recommend that farms perform this kind of audit? Do you think it's kind of a yearly thing, monthly, hopefully not weekly? That would be a bit much, but
Yeah, yeah, that would be too much. Anytime anything changes drastically, if you were to move, or if if you change the farm name or things like that, obviously if there's a major event, you need to do an audit. And otherwise I would probably just look at it annually. If there are no major changes, there's no reason why anything should be different. If there's a new platform that comes out, maybe do it then, but really annually should be more than sufficient once you get everything set up.
Do you have any recommendations for the number of times that a business should post per week? Because I know I've heard you talk about before, the main thing is consistency. You want to make sure that if you're dedicating your time to posting on Fridays, that you post on every Friday or something like that. But is the magic number 5 times per week? Is it 3? Is it just kind of dependent on your farm?
It's dependent on your farm. It's also dependent on what you're posting. If you're posting more feel good, fun, lighthearted, just not necessarily sales related posts, I would say it's okay to post 4 or 5 times a week. If you're only going to be doing posts about selling, I would bring that down to probably 3 max, but try to get some in there that are just fun and lighthearted and maybe have nothing to do with the farm. It's okay to just talk about, I've got a new puppy, what should I name it? Or, just silly things that really don't have any effect on the farm. It's just about that engagement, that conversation with your audience. Try to avoid, posting 3 times a day about selling. People get tired of that, and they're gonna turn you off for 30 days, and that's not going to help. So try to keep the sales to a minimum. But 3, 4, 5 times a week is fine. Just try to keep some of it fun. And listen, I preach to everybody about the importance of being on a schedule, and I'm supposed to do coffee talk every other Thursday, and it doesn't always happen because life happens, and it just the way things work out. So it's an attempt to get better and to be more consistent. It's not that if you're not consistent at all, you just need to quit. Just try, make an effort, life happens, and sometimes things don't work out the way we want them to. And that's okay. Just do your best.
Yeah, give yourself some grace that it's not always going to be exactly perfect every single week. But also, you talked about, there's different tools such as scheduling that can help you with that. That if your set time is 9 a.m. on a Thursday, if you can crank something out for a month's worth, then you could just have that done. It's off your mind. You don't have to think about it. And then you don't have to feel bad or beat yourself up about it because you
Exactly.
already have it ready to go.
When something catches fire and you just don't have time to post, it's okay.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Someone asked in the chat, do you know why Meta won't allow my farm page to have music for reels and such? I think we've run into that ourselves. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. If you are listed as a business page, you can run into some copyright issues. And I've seen a few farms get around this by not listing as a personal page, but it's something like you can list as an entrepreneur or you can list as a couple different things. You just switch your
Right.
profile over.
It could be like a community organization or
Yes.
yeah, it Meta. Okay, so Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call this monstrosity, is they're funny and they're super difficult to work with. And if they have a rule and they decide that you've not followed their rule, they can turn off your page for no reason and take away all access and never give it back. And there is not a thing you can do about it. So really some businesses will never get caught, never get their hands slapped, never get anything taken away. Other people do things one time and their page will be gone. So if Meta's got a rule about, using music in reels because of copyright issues, I would tend to follow the rule, even though that's not really what we want to do, because it's such a powerful platform to reach your customers that if it gets taken away, it's really difficult to recover. So I don't like all their rules. And that's why I tell everybody that they've got to have they've got to have a website and they've got to have email marketing, because you've got to have those other ways to reach your customers outside of whatever Zuckerberg wants you to be able to do today.
Well, and if something is to happen like that, even if you play by the rules and do all the right things, you don't want to only depend on the 1,400 followers you have on Instagram and then have to start all the way back over and build that up, and no telling how long that takes. Because like you said, if you have email marketing, then you can just send that out and say, hey, this happened. We don't know why, like we're happy to still reach you, but go like our new page or something like that. So great to have as many safety nets as you can, for sure.
Yes.
Do you have any recommendations? This came from the chat, for farms that don't necessarily have aesthetic products. So, Maggie has the flowers and the vegetables and fruits and things like that. The farm that asked this is a poultry farm, which I think there are plenty of adorable. Someone talked about putting pictures of chicks up there. Very, very adorable. But do you have any recommendations for things like that? Or, just, I don't know, products that are not as easy to photograph like that?
Yep. So obviously, cute puppies and babies and things like that are always easier, right? But when it comes down to it, your customers like your products, and they like your products because of what the product is. So even if it's not as pretty as what you think another animal is or another vegetable, it's still a product that your customers are seeking out. So don't discount the cuteness or the appeal of a picture because you don't think it's quite as cute as the baby cow. It's all relative and it's all opinion. So, I bet there are people out there that would love to look at pictures of chickens all day, just like there are people that want to look at pictures of cats all day. Everybody's different. And really what I would do is I would post pictures and I would pay attention to my insights to see what my audience is reacting to the most. So do they like the sunset with a chicken sitting on top of the chicken house? Do they like the baby chicks? Do they, what do they like? And what are they reacting to? And do more of that.
That's great. Yeah, really just stick to what you're doing, because the people that are following you are already interested in that. So they want to see all of that. And everyone was talking in the chat about how much better their pictures do when they do post people or post the farmer or customers or things like that. So maybe it's not, in your opinion, something that's aesthetically pleasing, but throw a human in there and it probably helps. So
Humans help, and you'll notice that certain humans help more than others for whatever reason.
yep.
So, if you've got kids that are helping you with the chickens, I bet they're going to do really good on Facebook, and maybe you don't do as well as the kids do.
Yes. Yep. A question that I feel like comes up every single time that I chat with you. But do you have any tips for getting over the awkwardness of live videos? Because every single farm that I talk to, including myself, just dreads doing a live video. But you're exactly right in that it is the number one thing that is pushed out. I mean, video content, live or not, is huge on all platforms. But the live videos are pushed very, very hard. So do you have anything that you do to get over it? Because you are a maestro at live videos.
I do two things. I forced myself to do it in the beginning, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. And the second thing I do is never, ever, ever rewatch my videos, ever. I hate seeing myself on video. I hate hearing my voice on video. So I just don't watch them. I don't. And that makes it easier because I don't have to rewatch them. Now I rewatched one today. I rewatched the Canva and Adobe Express one because you had mentioned it in the email to me. So I was like, well, I need to see what I said. And I make a fool out of myself, but that's who I am. I mean, I'm going to joke around. I'm going to be goofy and I'm going to have fun. And that's me. Just be authentic. Be who you are. If you're goofy, be goofy. If you're super serious, then be super serious. But be the same person on live video is what somebody meets when they come to your farm.
That is, yep, very important. And I would 100% agree. I don't do live videos, but I do recorded videos. And anytime that I have to edit those and rewatch and hear my voice 17,000 times over, even editing these videos, it's going to be just a very painful process. So I think we would be horrible celebrities, that's for sure. Thank goodness that we don't have to see videos or hear ourselves over and over.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It drives me insane. And that's what's taking so long on these BBOS videos is because I've got 26 videos that I've got to film and edit. The best thing about live is there is zero editing. As soon as you hit end, you are done. And they are so much less time consuming than real videos.
Well, I was about to say, even just you saying that makes it seem a lot more attractive to do a live video because of how long the editing can take. Whether you're using something that's really very very easy to use, or one that is Adobe and takes even longer than usual. But editing takes quite a while. So that is a really nice perk. If you're in a time crunch, I know a lot of our farmers markets will do live videos just to kind of show everyone what's going on, what vendors came that day, that kind of thing. And we had a farm, Stepping Stone Farm, commented that they go live often and their customers love it. They say it makes them feel like they know the farm even better. It makes it more personal. So it's a great example for that.
Yeah, 100%. That's why we recommend it. So yeah, kudos to you for doing it often.
And so and the Cornets also said lives aren't fun, but they definitely work, which yes, I think we all just need to practice more and just keep doing it and forcing it until we get more comfortable with it.
Yep. Just grin and bear it.
Just a few more questions, if you don't mind. No. One just came in, the best length of time for a live video.
So it's going to depend on your audience, and it's going to depend on the time of day that you're posting it. And the best thing to do is to play with some different lengths and see what works best for your audience. The other thing, for example, coffee talks, we do 30 minutes. So it takes about 30 minutes to get through the nonsense of, are we live? Are we not live? That little discussion that we have at the beginning of every video, because we can never get it to go live on, right? So, and then we talk about our topic and then we do a close. So that takes 30 minutes. Now, if you're just doing a quick live to show what products are at the farmer's market, that's a 5-minute post. So it really depends on your content. If you're putting something on there that's super informational to help people, it takes as long as it takes. And if you're just jumping on to show something super cute that's going on, that's, 2 minutes. So it's really about the content. But the other thing is don't get super bent out of shape if there aren't a ton of people watching your live while you're live. So if you want people to watch your live while you're live, you really got to be on for about an hour to really get that audience coming in. I see lives more as I'm going to do it. I'm going, that it's posted and people see it later, and that's fine. It makes, it does just as well if they're watching it live or if they're watching it 3 days later. Either one's fine with me. But I go back and I look at the insights at the end of the month to see how many people came back and watched it.
That's a really good note, because if you're in the live video by yourself and you just feel really down on yourself if no one is joining, you're not doing it for nothing, that people will come back and watch it. And that's the first thing that's on your profile. So when people come to your profile, maybe it was yesterday that it happened, but it's something fresh for them to be able to watch. And it's just, we need to get better about that ourselves.
Everybody does, but it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we just have to say, you know what? Yeah, I get that it's uncomfortable, but it works. And if it makes me money and it gets people to my farm, then I'm willing to do it.
Yep. Exactly. 2 more questions. Okay. Sure. So, one was, how often should an email go out if we started a newsletter or an email list? We're a small farm. So does that mean more often?
Yeah, so I do a newsletter bi-weekly. So every 2 weeks we send out a newsletter. It's not a super long newsletter. It's just a newsletter. It depends on the content that you're going to put in there. So if you've got new products every 3 days, then you need something that goes out every 3 days to let people know about the new products. If you're just sending out information about, the coming week or the coming 2 weeks, you can get by doing it every 2 weeks or once a month. So it's really about the content that you're going to put in there. I would definitely not do probably more than, twice a week, because you're gonna get, people are gonna be like, oh, this is always in my inbox, and they're gonna unfollow you. So look at the analytics during, from your emails and see, if you send out an email 3 times in 1 week, are you getting more unsubscribes than normal? If you're getting more unsubscribes than normal, then back off some. None of this it's not like there's a magic number for any of this. It's all trial and error. And what works for your particular business may not be what works for somebody else's.
That's a really good point. The last question that we have is someone that had a specific example talking about they just had their annual mule sale. So they just said they use an online or they use Facebook to advertise it. Do you have any other recommendations for an online platform to advertise an event other than Facebook?
So you can do a Google ad. Google ads are going to, they're pay-per-click, so they're not pay-per-view. So if you run a Google ad, if somebody is specifically searching for mule auction, you're going to show up and you're charged when they click you. That may be too narrow of a niche for Google. I don't know. I would have to pull up the search term, to see what the number of search terms are for that particular thing. I would look at other farming publications, particularly in your area, to see if you can put something out through them, through their website. Can you, what is you've got a really narrow audience there. And unfortunately, Facebook's probably going to be your best bet for reaching that particular audience.
And probably the easiest to use.
Yeah.
And probably also with how little you can put into an ad or financially put into an ad on Facebook, you'll probably get the most bang for your buck, I would say. Um, just because, I mean, you can go as low as I think $5 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
Obviously that affects your different reach and everything, but no, thank you for that.
Yeah,
And
that's kind of a tricky one. I wish there was another option that would work as well or better, but it's all about wherever those people are. So if there's a group out there that you can, target, if there's a mule auction group,
mhm,
that's a tough one.
Facebook group. Yeah.
I keep coming back to, that's what I keep coming back to. I'm like, I'm trying to not say Facebook.
No, as much as I think some of us wish we didn't have to depend on social media, it really is the way of the land, at least for the time being and probably definitely the foreseeable future. So I agree that probably would be the best avenue. But I know there are a few questions just about the different kind of technology or the different kind of equipment that you can use for filming and photography and things like that. We're actually going to cover a session of that tomorrow. It's going to be our first session talking about, it's our budget to bougie session. So talking about how you can do things very inexpensively or free using products that you already have. You can do a middle ground where you spend a little bit of money, or you can do one where you just go all out and you get the really fancy cameras and you do all of the things. So we'll touch on a few of those questions. And I think that about covers everything. So Amanda, thank you so much. It is incredible the way that you can make such a difficult topic so much more approachable. And I feel like just a deep sigh of relief of all of my notes usually that I can come back to. And I'm like, okay, it's not as scary. We can do this. And I know that this is going to be a great resource for all of our farms. So everyone will be able to share out Amanda's information if you missed it. And we'll also share the resource page with all of the different things that she talked about so that you all are able to try those out yourself and get to apply everything that she talked about. So thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure. And if I can help anybody in the future, Bethany will send out my information. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me.